Have you ever felt completely drained, emotionally exhausted, questioning your very sense of self, by someone who seemed to thrive on taking from you? Perhaps they skillfully twisted situations, leaving you wondering, am I the one at fault here? If you've ever found yourself in a relationship where one person takes while the other gives, where endless drama becomes an inescapable weight, or where each day feels like a new battle for peace, then this video is for you. It's time to break from the cycle of emotional manipulation. Today, I'm going to guide you through 13 profound ways to handle toxic individuals, drawing on the timeless wisdom of Stoic philosophy. These techniques, though ancient, have a lasting relevance, especially in today's world, where emotional health is often under attack. Stoicism teaches us how to reclaim our peace and preserve our inner strength in the face of negativity. Together, we'll dive into the heart of manipulation, control, and emotional conflict. You'll learn practical tools to protect your mental peace, to take back your life, and to build resilience against the tactics that toxic people use to undermine others. Modern relationships, whether romantic, familial, or friendships, can sometimes feel like a battlefield. We live in a world where some are conditioned to manipulate and drain those around them, pushing us to our limits and leaving us feeling empty, questioning our self-worth. But here's the truth: they don't have power over you. You hold the strength to rise above, to shield yourself from their influence, and to take control of your own emotional well-being. This is the essence of Stoicism, focusing on what you can control and releasing everything that you cannot. In this video, we'll reveal 13 powerful, Stoic-based strategies to help you handle toxic people with the wisdom and strength of a warrior. This isn't about accepting mistreatment. It's about standing up for yourself with courage, taking bold steps to protect your peace, reclaiming your sense of worth, and becoming emotionally bulletproof. If you're ready to arm yourself with these transformative tools, watch the video all the way through. Don't miss out on the chance to learn these life-changing insights. Subscribe to Victory in Silence for more powerful guidance. Comment 999 below if you're ready to take control, and share this video with friends who need to hear this. Let's journey together toward inner strength and resilience, breaking free from toxic cycles, and finding victory in the silence of a calm, empowered mind. Number 1. Identify toxic behavior. Let's start with something that might seem straightforward, but is often elusive in practice: identifying toxic behavior. Think carefully. Have you ever been in a situation where nothing you do is ever enough? Where a friend, partner, or even a family member constantly criticizes you, questions your every decision, and somehow, despite it all, they always seem to cast themselves as the victim. You may even find yourself apologizing, despite having done nothing wrong. Sound familiar? This is no coincidence. It's a calculated strategy designed to control, leaving you doubting yourself and drained of confidence. This is manipulation at its core, the hallmark of classic toxic behavior. Toxic individuals act as emotional parasites, subtly siphoning your energy with each interaction. Their tactics are often quiet, almost invisible. The seemingly innocuous comments like, "Oh, I was just joking," or "Why are you so sensitive?" might seem harmless on the surface. But don't be deceived. These are the silent jabs that gradually erode your self-worth. Toxic people have a knack for turning situations around to make you feel guilty simply for setting boundaries. How many times have you heard phrases like, "I can't believe you would do this to me," or "After everything I've done for you"? These statements are not genuine grievances but emotional traps. Subtle yet powerful weapons to make you question your reality and lower your defenses. The first step to breaking free is seeing these behaviors for what they truly are: emotional abuse. It's not a bad day, nor is it miscommunication. It's a deliberate attempt to undermine your sense of self. Here's a golden rule to remember. If you constantly feel the need to justify someone's behavior to yourself or others, it's a major red flag. Healthy relationships don't require you to explain away mistreatment. Only toxic ones do. Once you recognize this behavior as manipulation, you can begin to distance yourself and reclaim your sense of worth. Number 2. Understand it's not personal. Here's a profound truth. It's not about you. This may seem simple, but think about how often toxic people have made you question yourself, blaming you for every conflict. They make you feel as though everything is your fault, but the truth is that their behavior reflects their own internal turmoil, insecurities, and inability to take responsibility for their actions. Have you noticed how a toxic person might lash out when they're feeling insecure or frustrated about their own life? Maybe they had a bad day at work or are dealing with personal dissatisfaction. Rather than addressing their issues, they project this negativity onto you, making you the target. They twist situations, implying that you're somehow to blame, when in reality, they're simply looking for someone to absorb their frustration. And here's where Stoicism offers a lifeline. Stoic wisdom teaches us that others' behavior is a reflection of their own struggles, not our worth. Toxic people want you to feel responsible for their feelings, but you have the power to step back. You are not obligated to fix them. Your primary responsibility is to protect your own emotional well-being. Remind yourself this is not about me. You're not their therapist, their scapegoat, or their emotional outlet. Their issues belong to them alone. By embracing this Stoic perspective, you can learn to detach emotionally. When they try to drag you into their turmoil, remember that their struggles are not yours to bear. Rise above their projections and let go of any guilt or self-doubt they attempt to impose. This is a crucial step in reclaiming your peace and standing firm against manipulation. Number 3. Set clear boundaries. Now that you've recognized the toxic behavior and accepted that it's not a reflection of you, it's time to lay down serious boundaries. And when I say boundaries, I don't mean vague or flexible lines in the sand. I mean firm, non-negotiable rules that protect your peace, time, and emotional well-being. Toxic people despise boundaries because boundaries limit their influence, restricting their access to your energy and control over your actions. Here's the truth about toxic individuals: they push your limits as a test. They want to see how much they can get away with. At first, it may start subtly: constant messages or calls at all hours, frequent interruptions, or demands for attention that don't respect your need for space. But over time, these small transgressions add up, and before you know it, you've sacrificed your time, energy, and mental health just to keep them appeased. But here's the reality: you don't owe anyone your energy. Your time and emotional well-being are precious resources, and you have every right to protect them. Setting boundaries isn't selfish, it's self-respect. You must be able to say no without feeling guilty, without needing to explain, and without fearing retaliation. Here's a powerful boundary to set: stop explaining yourself. Toxic people will try to guilt trip you, manipulate you, and even show anger to get you to justify your decisions. But the truth is, you don't owe anyone a justification for taking care of yourself. So, next time they try to cross a line, keep it simple and clear. Say, "This is what I need," or "I'm not available for that," and let that be the end of the conversation. The more you stand firm, the more they'll realize they can't manipulate you. Over time, they'll either have to adjust their behavior or move on to someone else who tolerates their demands. You don't need to defend your boundaries to anyone. They exist to protect your peace. Number 4. Master the art of non-reaction. This next step is a game changer. Mastering the art of non-reaction. Toxic people feed on emotional responses. They push your buttons, provoke anger, frustration, and sadness because they thrive on drama. Every time you react emotionally, you're giving them exactly what they crave: control over your emotions. but the power to stop them lies within you. Stoicism teaches us a profound principle. While we may not be able to control others' actions, we always control how we respond. Imagine this scenario. You're in the middle of an argument with a toxic person. They're hurling accusations, insults, and blame, all designed to elicit a reaction from you. Now, imagine that instead of reacting, you remain perfectly calm, unshaken. You don't get pulled into the emotional storm. Instead, you choose to detach. This might sound challenging, but I guarantee it's one of the most powerful moves you can make. When you stop reacting to their provocations, you strip them of their power. They're left with no control over you because you've refused to play their game. Non-reaction isn't easy, especially when they're pushing all your buttons. But it's a practice, a skill you can develop. Think of it as building an emotional shield around yourself. The more you practice it, the less their words and actions will affect you. So next time someone tries to provoke you, pause. Take a deep breath and remind yourself that you don't need to engage. You don't owe them a reaction. Respond with something neutral like, "I hear what you're saying," or "I'll think about it," and then walk away. In doing so, you assert control over the conversation and, more importantly, over your peace of mind. Non-reaction is your silent armor. It says, "I am the master of my emotions, not you." By practicing this, you protect your peace, deny them the satisfaction of a reaction, and reinforce your inner strength. Number 5. Use the gray rock method. Let's dive into one of the most powerful techniques for neutralizing toxic people who crave attention, drama, and control. The gray rock method. Think of this approach as becoming as plain and uninteresting as a gray rock. Toxic people feed off intense reactions. They want your emotional energy. They want to get under your skin. And most of all, they want to provoke a response. But when you use the gray rock method, you give them none of that satisfaction. Imagine this. Every time this person tries to stir up drama, you respond with the dullest, most neutral response you can muster. They're expecting you to get angry, sad, or defensive, but instead, you remain calm, detached, and indifferent. You don't give them an emotional reaction to work with. Why does this work? Because toxic people thrive on emotional fuel. When you stop reacting emotionally, they lose their supply, and without it, their influence over you weakens. Now, let's be clear, the gray rock method isn't about being passive or allowing someone to walk all over you. It's about taking control by refusing to play into their drama. When you respond like a gray rock, emotionless, detached, and unfazed by their antics, they're left with nothing. Over time, they'll either change their behavior or find someone else who will feed their need for chaos. The next time someone tries to suck you into their toxic drama, keep your responses short and indifferent. Offer no emotional fuel. You might be surprised at how quickly the dynamic shifts. Suddenly, they have no choice but to respect your peace, or they simply lose interest in trying to provoke you. Number 6. The broken record technique. Toxic people are relentless. They often refuse to take no for an answer, pushing and pushing until they break down your resolve. Maybe you've had someone guilt trip or manipulate you into doing something you don't want to do. This is where the broken record technique comes into play. It's a powerful tool to help you stand your ground without engaging in endless explanations or justifications. Here's how it works. Instead of getting drawn into a back and forth or feeling the need to justify your decisions, you simply repeat your position with calm, steady consistency, like a broken record. Imagine someone is pressuring you to do something you're not comfortable with. Rather than explain or debate, you respond with a calm, firm statement. "I'm not comfortable with that." If they keep pushing, you don't budge. You just calmly repeat, "I'm not comfortable with that," without adding emotions or explanations. Over time, they'll recognize that their persistence is futile. The beauty of this technique lies in its simplicity. It doesn't escalate the situation, but it reinforces your boundaries with strength and clarity. Toxic people often thrive on wearing others down, but the broken record technique stops them in their tracks. When you stand your ground with unwavering consistency, they eventually realize they can't break through your wall. Especially useful in close relationships. This technique protects your peace by keeping your boundaries non-negotiable. Remember, you don't owe anyone explanation for choosing your well-being. Stand firm and let the broken record do the work for you. Number 7. Limit exposure to toxic people. One of the hardest yet most liberating truths is this: some people are simply bad for your well-being. Regardless of how much history you share, or how deep your feelings for them go, if they constantly bring negativity, you need to ask yourself if their presence is worth your peace. Toxic individuals act like emotional parasites. They take your energy, kindness, and attention, often without giving anything meaningful in return. You might feel a sense of obligation to them, but here's the reality: you don't owe them anything. Not your time, your mental health, or your emotional energy. Sometimes the best act of self-love is limiting your exposure to them. Now, I get it. Distancing yourself can be painful. If this person is a family member, close friend, or partner, creating that separation isn't easy. But consider this: your well-being should come first. If someone constantly makes you feel anxious, drained, or unworthy, it's time to prioritize your peace over their influence. Distancing doesn't mean you don't care. It simply means you value yourself enough to protect your mental and emotional health. Limiting exposure can take different forms. For some, it may mean reducing the time you spend together. For others, it might mean keeping conversations surface level and avoiding topics that trigger negativity. If it's a colleague, focus strictly on work matters, minimizing personal engagement. And with family members, set firm boundaries about when and how you interact. The goal here is to create a protective bubble around your energy. You can still be polite, respectful, and even caring, without allowing them to infringe on your well-being. Remember, your mental health is invaluable. By limiting exposure to those who consistently drain you, you're preserving your emotional energy for people and experiences that truly enrich your life. Toxic people are not entitled to your inner peace. Number 8. Build your support system. A favorite tack to toxic individuals is isolation. They may subtly, or not so subtly, work to distance you from others, making you feel as though they're the only ones you can rely on. Over time, this tactic chips away at your confidence, clouds your judgment, and keeps you trapped in their web. This manipulation creates a false dependency, feeding off your isolation and reinforcing their control. However, there's a powerful antidote to this tactic: building and leaning on a strong support system. Surrounding yourself with people who genuinely care about your well-being is one of the most effective ways to counter the influence of toxic individuals. Your support network should consist of people who lift you up, respect your boundaries, and celebrate your growth. Whether it's family, close friends, or a community of like-minded individuals, having people who value and uplift you makes it much harder for a toxic person to drag you down. They lose their power of isolation because you have a circle that empowers you. Think of your support system as your personal sanctuary, a place where you can recharge, gain perspective, and find encouragement. The people in your circle should be those who encourage you to grow, but in a way that's constructive and empowering, not draining. These are friends who will call you out if you're slipping, but do so with kindness, not judgment. They respect your boundaries, support your decisions, and never guilt-trip you for choosing what's best for you. Having a tribe of people who genuinely love and respect you weakens the toxic person's influence over your life. Isolation loses its power, and you gain the strength to stand firm in your values and priorities. Find these people, nurture these connections, and let their positivity reinforce your own resilience. The stronger your support system, the weaker any toxic person's hold will be on you. Number 9. Prioritize self-care. Toxic people can be utterly draining. Whether it's their emotional manipulation, relentless criticism, or unyielding negativity, they have a unique way of sapping your energy and peace of mind. That's why self-care is not just a luxury in these situations. It's an absolute necessity. Think of self-care as your emotional armor, protecting you from the corrosive effects of toxic relationships. Without it, you're vulnerable to burnout, resentment, and emotional exhaustion. But let's redefine what self-care really means when dealing with toxic individuals. It's not just about temporary escapes like bubble baths or spa days, although those can be helpful. Real self-care is about consistently choosing practices that nurture your emotional, mental, and physical well-being. It's about setting boundaries, giving yourself permission to say no without guilt, and creating space to recharge. It's about understanding that your needs are not just important, they are essential. Toxic people often expect others to put their needs first, to prioritize their emotions, and to bend over backwards to keep them happy. Here's the truth: you don't have to. You have every right to put your mental health and well-being above their demands. Self-care means claiming that right unapologetically. It might look like taking breaks from interactions that drain you, practicing mindfulness or meditation to maintain inner calm, or immersing yourself in activities that bring you joy and satisfaction. Self-care also involves knowing when you've had enough. If a toxic person pushes you to your limit, it's okay to step back and focus on your own healing. Stoic philosophy emphasizes the importance of inner peace, and self-care is the foundation of that peace. When you prioritize your own well-being, toxic individuals lose their hold over you because you're no longer dependent on their approval or validation. This inner fortitude not only builds resilience but also empowers you to make healthier choices for yourself, free from guilt or obligation. Number 10. Recognize that you cannot fix everyone. One of the hardest truths to accept when dealing with toxic people is this: you cannot fix them. It doesn't matter how much love, time, or effort you pour into a relationship, their healing is beyond your control. Toxic individuals are often deeply entrenched in patterns of manipulation, blame shifting, and control, and these behaviors serve their needs. Whether it's emotional validation, a sense of power, or the ability to keep others emotionally tethered. The more you try to change them, the deeper you sink into a cycle of guilt and frustration. Have you ever felt like you're constantly bending over backwards for someone, only for them to disregard your efforts? Or maybe you've been in a relationship where, despite giving everything, you're always made to feel that it's never enough. This is how toxic individuals ensnare you. They create a cycle where you're endlessly trying to fix them, but they never truly change. Because, at their core, they don't want to. Here's a wake-up call: you are not their savior. You cannot save someone who doesn't want to be saved. Stoicism teaches us the importance of focusing on what we can control, and the truth is, you cannot control other people. The only person you have control over is yourself. When you stop trying to fix others and start focusing on reinforcing your own boundaries and responses, you reclaim a sense of freedom and autonomy. You'll discover an energy and peace that was previously drained by someone who never valued it. When you realize that fixing toxic people is not your responsibility, you free yourself from their manipulation. This realization is powerful. It's the moment you regain control over your life. You deserve relationships that uplift, respect, and appreciate you, not ones where your emotional efforts go unrecognized and unreciprocated. By shifting your energy toward nurturing relationships and strengthening your own boundaries, you'll find a sense of fulfillment and calm that toxic individuals can never provide. Number 11. Use cognitive reframing. This is where a powerful mental shift can take place. Toxic people have a remarkable ability to make you feel like the villain in their narrative. They manipulate facts, twist situations, and somehow always make it seem like it's your fault. But here's an important truth: it's not about you. It's about them. Stoic philosophy teaches us that we cannot control others' actions, but we can absolutely control how we perceive and respond to them. Cognitive reframing, then, becomes a powerful tool to reclaim your sense of peace and clarity. Imagine you're in an argument with someone who constantly criticizes you. Instead of letting their words impact your self-worth, cognitive reframing allows you to view their behavior as a reflection of their own insecurities and struggles. By recognizing that their criticism is not about you but about them, you take away their power to undermine your self-worth. This simple shift in perspective can be a game changer. Cognitive reframing is also incredibly useful against the tactic of gaslighting, where toxic people make you question your reality or even your sanity. With reframing, you can step back and ask, is this really about me? Or is it their own unresolved issues showing through? In most cases, you'll find that their actions are indeed projections of their inner turmoil. This awareness not only preserves your emotional stability, but also empowers you to stay centered in your own truth. The next time a toxic person lashes out, take a pause before reacting. Ask yourself if their behavior genuinely reflects who you are, or if it's a manifestation of their own struggles. By practicing this consistently, you'll find that it's much easier to keep your emotional boundaries intact, making their attempts at manipulation less and less effective over time. Number 12. Practice forgiveness for your own peace. Forgiveness can seem counterintuitive, especially when dealing with someone who has hurt you deeply. But let's reframe forgiveness, not as a gift to them, but as a gift to yourself. Forgiveness is not about excusing their behavior or pretending it never happened. It's about releasing the emotional baggage that keeps you tethered to resentment and anger. When you hold on to those emotions, you're the one carrying the weight, not them. Picture this: while you're stewing over how someone mistreated you, they may have already moved on, completely oblivious to the turmoil you're experiencing. Meanwhile, you're replaying the hurt in your mind, allowing it to occupy precious mental and emotional space. This cycle of holding on to resentment only serves to harm you, not them. Forgiveness, then, becomes a means of liberating yourself from this cycle. In Stoic philosophy, figures like Marcus Aurelius emphasized the importance of forgiveness, not for the other person's sake but for our own inner tranquility. True forgiveness doesn't mean forgetting or condoning what they did. It means choosing not to let their behavior have power over your emotions any longer. When you forgive, you reclaim control over your happiness and well-being, breaking free from their influence. Start with the small grievances. Instead of holding on to every minor slight or hurtful comment, practice letting go of the little things first. That rude comment or dismissive attitude. Forgive it and feel the lightness it brings. Over time, this practice builds your emotional resilience, preparing you to release even the larger hurts. Remember, you're doing this for your own peace, not for them. Forgiveness is one of the most profound acts of self-care. When you let go of resentment, you create space for joy, growth, and serenity. You're no longer allowing toxic people to live rent-free in your mind. Instead, you're reclaiming your mental and emotional real estate, starting today. Number 13. When to walk away. This is the final and arguably most powerful truth. There comes a time when you must walk away. It doesn't matter how long you've known them, how close you've been, or how much history you share. When someone continuously disrespects your boundaries, manipulates your emotions, or drains your energy, it's time to walk away. Walking away isn't weakness, it's the ultimate strength. It's the boldest and most empowering declaration of self-worth. Toxic people will try to convince you otherwise. They'll make you feel guilty, suggesting that you're abandoning them, or that you're giving up too soon. But here's the reality. You've already given enough of yourself. You've fought for a relationship that only depletes you, and now it's time to choose yourself. Imagine being in a toxic romantic relationship, where your partner constantly undermines your confidence, insults you, or makes you feel like you're walking on eggshells. No amount of love, effort, or sacrifice on your part will ever fix that dynamic. The healthiest, most loving choice you can make is to walk away. It's not easy, though. There will be guilt, sadness, and the fear of the unknown. But let me remind you, nothing is worth sacrificing your mental and emotional health for. Walking away is an act of liberation. It's about reclaiming your life and refusing to allow toxic people to continue to have power over you. It's about prioritizing your well-being and creating space for the peace, joy, and fulfillment that you truly deserve. Here's the truth. You cannot heal in the same environment that is making you sick. If a relationship, whether with a partner, a friend, or a family member, is toxic, it's time to walk away. Not every relationship can be saved, and that's okay. Walking away is not about giving up. It's about choosing to live life on your terms, rather than allowing someone else's dysfunction to dictate your reality. It's about clearing the way for healthier, more loving relationships to enter your life. You are not obligated to tolerate toxicity, no matter where it comes from. And walking away is not just an act of self-preservation. It is a courageous decision to honor yourself and your boundaries. It's about choosing your peace, your happiness, your freedom, over someone else's chaos. This is the most powerful gift you can give yourself. Dealing with toxic people is undoubtedly one of the most difficult challenges you will ever face, but it's also one of the most empowering journeys you'll undertake. By applying these 13 Stoic-inspired strategies, identifying toxic behavior, setting boundaries, mastering non-reaction, practicing forgiveness, and most importantly, walking away, you can take back control of your emotional and mental well-being. Remember, you are not responsible for fixing toxic people, and you certainly don't owe them your energy or peace. Your primary responsibility is to yourself, and that is where your greatest power lies. These principles are not just about protecting yourself from toxic people. They are about helping you grow into the best, strongest version of yourself. You deserve relationships that nurture you, not ones that drain you. You deserve peace. And with these strategies, peace is something you can absolutely achieve, no matter how toxic the people around you may be. If this video resonated with you, and you found these insights valuable, I encourage you to subscribe to the channel, Victory in Silence, for more content like this. I'm committed to helping people break free from toxic relationships and build healthier, happier lives. If you're in a position to support the channel even further, consider joining our channel memberships. Every membership helps us continue to create empowering content and reach more people who need to hear this message. Whether you choose to subscribe or join our membership, both are incredible ways to support this mission and make life-changing wisdom accessible to as many people as possible. Let's build a community of emotional warriors, people who refuse to be controlled by toxic influences. You deserve peace, and together we can create it. If you found value in this video, be sure to like, share, and pass it on to those who might need to hear this too. Let's spread the message of healing and empowerment, because you don't have to do this alone. Thank you for watching. Your journey to peace starts now.